Tonight on Y News, the Philippine National Police inspects security measures at Araneta City Bus Station ahead of the long holiday. The Department of Trade and Industry warns retailers selling overpriced bottled water at bus terminals. One person has been confirmed dead and dozens were injured after a magnitude 6.6 earthquake struck Cotabato. Vice President Leni Robredo refuses to answer President Rodrigo Duterte's offer for her to become a drug czar. And the Department of Transportation eyes to open the Sangley Point Airport operations by November. Good evening. Days before the long holiday, the Philippine National Police inspected the Araneta City Bus Station to ensure safety and security in the terminal. Meanwhile, the terminal management say they are ready for the influx of passengers. Arlene Delgado explains why.
Passengers traveling to their provinces continue to arrive at the Araneta City Bus Station for the long holiday. To ensure safety and security, PNP officer in charge, Police Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa, together with NCRPO Chief Police Brigadier General Debold Sinas, inspected the terminal this morning. During the inspection, Gamboa handed out some brochures that contain tips and advice for a safe travel. He also inspected the buses. According to Gamboa, the terminal is ready for the expected influx of passengers.
I'm contented with the preparations, no. But of course, hindi ito pabayaan, no, sa level ng mga commanders, no, lalo na dito ng Chief of Police at ng District Director. They should also monitor from time to time. Tingnan nila yung kondisyon ng mga tao.
The police personnel stationed at the terminal are now on duty round the clock. 3 canine bomb-sniffing dogs are also rounding up the terminal. A medical booth of the Quezon City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office is also stationed at the terminal until November 2. Gamboa calls on public utility drivers to always prioritize the welfare of their passengers.
Pakiusap ko naman doon sa mga, lalo na sa mga driver ng bus, no? Huwag nating bilisan ang biyahe dahil gusto nating bumalik at makakuha ulit ng pasahero. Remember, as required by law on common carriers, no, you are supposed to deliver your passengers in good condition kung saan sila dapat tutungo.
The PNP stress no security threat on the long holiday is being monitored as of the moment. Arlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Many passengers are beginning to head to their provinces for the coming holiday in November. But ticket sales at the Araneta City Bus Port in Quezon City have been lower. From Cubao, Quezon City, Mai Bermudez reports live. Mai, go ahead.
Diego, the number of passengers flocking to the Araneta City Bus Terminal has slightly decreased this year compared to the same period last year, according to the terminal management. But they expect the situation to change tomorrow, Wednesday payday, as travelers begin preparing for the holiday break. We witnessed how Nelly Rodriguez took a rest before starting her trip all the way to Irosin, Sorsogon. According to her, she took advantage and chose to travel today before the holiday break.
Pagka aabutan ka po talaga ng hanggang Vesperas, mahirapan po talaga. Kaya dapat mas maaga. Mas maaga po talagang uuwi.
Hindi ka nagpa-reserve ng ticket?
Hindi po. Kasi naasahan ko talaga madami pang bus ngayon.
Trips with this bus company are not fully booked, and tickets are still available for those bound to Biliran and the Visayas. But the bus company has announced trip schedules are cancelled on November 1 and 2.
Siyempre nag-aahas na siya, yung parang ganon. Mahaba na pila dapat, nag-2 lines na, mga ganon. Wala, as in walang pila ngayon. Malaki yung binaba ngayon compared dati. Dapat medyo malaki na yung income namin.
This bus company is just one out of the 17 with ordinary bus ticket booths here at the Araneta City Bus Terminal. If ordinary buses normally do not have online booking, air-conditioned bus trips to Visayas, Bicol, and Southern Tagalog may be seen on their website aranetacitybusport.com.
Well, in-expect natin yung payday, no? So, we would expect by tomorrow, kaya sa 31, yung dagsa ng mga pasero, especially dito sa non-aircon. Yung aircon po natin, marami na po doon nakabili ng for advance schedule. Kaya kalimitan, puro mga chance yun doon sa bus port. Although nakapabigay naman ng allocation sa mga bus company, tsaka yung extra trip nila, dahil nabigyan naman sila ng mga special permit ng LTFRB.
Diego, more than 5,000 passengers arrived here at the terminal yesterday, and the terminal management expects this number to increase to 7,000 to 8,000 starting tomorrow until the weekend. Sharp objects, flammable materials, liquor, and flammable materials are prohibited or strictly prohibited within the terminal. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you, Mai Bermudez, reporting live from Quezon City. The Department of Trade and Industry petitions to retailers not to sell bottled water at high prices. Overpricing of such commodities can be penalized. Asher Kadapan Jr. tells us why.
The Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, conducted a surprise special market monitoring inspection in kiosks at a provincial bus terminal in Caloocan City this morning. The DTI aimed to check the prices of basic commodities in the terminal, particularly bottled water. But DTI officials were disappointed to find out there are kiosks that sell overpriced bottled water.
Dapat 15.40 yung presyo ng Nature Spring na tubig. Ngayon, binibenta niya ng 30 pesos. So sobrang-sobra naman yung kanyang patong.
Based on the DTI's suggested retail price list, major distribution channels like supermarkets sell 500 milliliters of purified water for 6 pesos and 75 centavos to 11 pesos only, while a liter costs 15 to 20 pesos depending on the brand of purified water. Retailers explain they have to sell bottled water in a higher price as they only buy such item from supermarkets.
Nabibinta namin ng 18, so minsan pag kilala 15, kunting-kunting patong lang.
Pag mga heavy traffic na ganito, sinatasan na namin ng piso, 12 yung mga paninda namin. Pero pag mga regular days naman na po, back to regular price na.
According to Asik Kabochan, consumers would benefit if retailers follow the suggested retail price. What the DTI can do is to appeal to the retailers to lower the price of bottled water since there is currently no law that regulates its prices.
Although yung mga maliliit na mga kiosk na yan, hindi naman siya mga major distribution channels, pakiusapan po ang ginagawa ng DTI para yung mga nagtitinda, ibababa nila yung mga presyo nila.
Meanwhile, the DTI served notice of violation to 5 retailers at the terminal due to absence of price tags on their merchandise. They will undergo due process and may be penalized with a fine from 5,000 to 2 million pesos if they are found violating the law against profiteering. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue, Caloocan City.
The Manila North Cemetery Management continues its clearing operations days before thousands of Filipinos are expected to flock for the approaching long holiday. The management also warns all persons living within the cemetery to vacate its premises. Bernard Dadis will tell us why.
Informal settlers in Manila North Cemetery are to blame why some graves are missing, according to Director Rosel Castañeda. This is just one of the complaints her office has received, she says.
Yung mga pamilya, hindi na nila ma-locate yung mga puntod nila. Sa clearing namin, nakikita namin, minsan nagiging bahay po pala.
Take for example shanties show in this photo taken by Director Castañeda herself. The informal settlers have built their havens on apartment homes. Castañeda adds they have found out that the wastewater from those temporary shelters flows to the graves.
Marami na kaming complain. Ang ward na nga na ginagamit ng mga pamilya rito na nagre-reklamo, nababalahura na.
Not only that, the Manila North Cemetery personnel discovered a lot of skeletons are scattered on the cemetery ground. According to Director Castañeda, the remains in the graves must be transferred to the columbarium after 5 years. But the problem is that not all who have buried their relatives' remains claim them, while others seems to forget they need to transfer their relatives' remains after the 5-year contract. This is what others take advantage of, she says. Remains are illegally removed and use the slots instead. Worse is some just leave the remains removed from their tombs anywhere in the cemetery. Because of this, the MNC management have ordered a strict monitoring of such incidents. Castañeda has also implemented a 3-month notice policy. They send a letter of notice to bereaved relatives who have buried their loved ones in the MNC. In case they fail to claim the remains after 5 years, the MNC will transfer them to a storage room and wait for another year for someone to claim the remains. When there's no claim done, the MNC will include the remains to a mass grave. Castañeda added they also offer assistance to those who cannot find their relatives in the Manila North Cemetery.
Computerized na rin po kami. Meron na po kaming website para po doon sa pupunta. Pasukin lang po nila yung www.manila.cemetery.org.ph. Type lang po nila yung pangalan po ng mahal nila sa buhay. Lalabas po doon kung anong section, anong grade po yun. Ngayon kung hindi pa rin po nila kayang puntahan, meron po kami mga tao dito to assist them.
Bernard Dadis, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Beliefs about the All Souls Day and All Saints Day as the first 2 days of November are called by many vary based on culture, faith, country, and many other factors. But what does the Bible say about those days and how people celebrate them? Nel Maribok has this report.
It's just days away from November 1 when many Filipinos go to cemeteries to visit the tomb of the remains of their loved ones. This day is celebrated by some with spooky stories, myths, and scary costumes, while it's the time for others to practice their traditions. There are those who believe that dead people can make themselves manifest or be felt. But is it true that those buried 6 feet below the ground can rise? Brother Eli Soriano has direct and straightforward answers to common questions about the dead.
Alam mo, hindi na bumabalik ang patay sa bahay. Pagkaraan daw ng 40 dias, babalik o kaya 3 araw, babalik sa bahay. Pero ang sabi ng salita ng Diyos sa Job 7:9, ganito.
Kung paanong ang ulap ay napapawi at nawawala, gayon siyang bumababa sa libingan ay hindi na aahon pa. Siya'y hindi na babalik pa sa kanyang bahay, ni malalaman pa man niya ang kanyang dako.
Hindi na makakabalik sa bahay yung patay. Hindi niya na po pwede siyang gumala-gala, kagaya ng paniniwala na pagka Todos los Santos ba yun? Araw ng mga patay, naglisaw-lisaw daw yung mga kaluluwa na kaluluwa kaming tambing sa purgatorio nang galing. Kaluluwa ay dumaratal sa tapat ng durungawan. Kampanilya ay tinatantay. Ginigising ang may buhay. Kung kami po'y lilimusan, dali-daliin po lamang, baka kami mapagsarhan ang pinto sa kalangitan. Kaluluwa kaming tambing sa purgatorio nang galing. Yan ang kinakanta pagka napatan yung mga kaluluwa. Panluloko sa kapwa-tao yan. Hindi totoo yan, kapatid, na bumabalik yung mga kaluluwa. Hindi. Ang mga patay mabubuhay lang pagbalik ni Kristo.
Some people light candles for the dead as an act of remembrance or as a prayer for them. Others even talk to their deceased loved ones. But is it right to do these things?
Kasi bawal ng Diyos yun. At ang patay, hindi mo na makakausap. Kung meron na makikipag-usap sa'yo, masamang espiritu yun, hindi yung patay na kamag-anak mo. Halimbawa, lolo mo o tatay mo, nanay mo, hindi yun. Kasi alam mo, sabi ng Biblia, no, bawal ng Diyos yung ang tao ay makipag-usap sa basahin natin yung Deuteronomio 18:10 hanggang 12.
Huwag makakasumpong sa iyo ng sinumang nagpaparaan sa apoy ng kanyang anak na lalaki o babae, o nanguhula, o nagmamasid ng mga pamahiin, o engkantador, o manggagaway, o engkantador ng mga ahas o nakikipagsanggunian sa mga masamang espiritu o mahiko o sumasangguni sa mga patay. Sapagkat sino mang gumagawa ng mga bagay na ito ay karumal-dumal sa Panginoon, at dahil sa mga karumal-dumal na ito ay pinalalaya sila ng Panginoon mong Diyos sa harap mo.
Ayon, yung gumagawa nung nakikipagsangguni, nakikipag-usap sa mga patay, yun ay karumal-dumal sa Diyos.
Brother Eli adds, we can no longer speak with our loved ones who have passed away since they are no longer aware of anything. Whatever we want to believe, it's important to have strong bases so that we won't have to waste money and time. Most of all, it's better to be sure that whatever we do will result in something good. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Welcome back to Wine News. We pick up to where Angelo Castro III left off. I'm Alex Baltazar, and here are the headlines. One confirmed dead, while dozens were hurt following a magnitude 6.6 earthquake that struck Cotabato. Vice President Leni Robredo refuses to answer President Rodrigo Duterte's drug czar challenge. The Philippine National Police braces for possible retaliatory attacks following the death of ISIS leader. President Rodrigo Duterte says he is prepared to use outright police power to resolve the worsening water shortage. And the Department of Transportation eyes to open Sangley Point Airport operations by November. Good evening. A magnitude 6.6 earthquake strikes Tugunan Town in Cotabato and affects other parts of Mindanao just 2 weeks after a strong earthquake hit the same area. The government has assured that concerned government agencies are closely monitoring the situation and assessing the damage. Marisol Montaño has the details to this report.
One person died while 43 others were injured following a magnitude of 6.6 quake that jolted Tulunan, Cotabato at past 9 this morning. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDRRMC, reported. Citing information from the Office of Civil Defense, Region 12, the NDRRMC said the fatality was identified as Nestor Narciso, 66, from Coronadal City. The agency also reported that around 30 individuals were hurt in Kidapawan City, while 13 others were injured in Imlang, North Cotabato. A total of 23 local governments have suspended classes due to expected aftershocks following the main quake. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PVOX, reports that the epicenter of the strong quake was traced east of Tulunan, the same town that was struck by a magnitude of 6.1 quake last October 16. Tuesday's trembler also rocked other parts of Mindanao, including Davao Region. Davao City's Public Safety and Security Command Center initially reported damages in 35 schools and establishments in the city, but there are no reported fatalities or person missing yet due to this morning's earthquake. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio earlier announced the suspension of classes in public and private schools following the quake. Work in the city government offices, except for those belonging to social services, security and disaster response, was also cancelled. The Philippine National Police, for their part, said they have mobilized their respective units to respond to calls for help and provide necessary assistance to prevent the occurrence of crimes. Following the quake, Malacanang assured the government is closely monitoring the situation and assessing the damage.
Well, the president is concerned with what happened in the latest earthquake in Mindanao, and he wants to, or he has directed all the agencies to provide assistance to the victims of the earthquake and continue with their usual reaction to situations such as this one.
Malacanang calls on citizens to remain calm but alert and avoid spreading false information that may cause undue alarm, panic, and stress to many people. Marisol Montaño, UNTV News and Rescue, Davao City.
Philippine authorities will study the 2 earthquakes that happened this month in North Cotabato. The public is advised not to share wrong information about any threats of tsunami following this morning's earthquake in the province. Ray Pelayo reports why.
The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, is now studying the 2 earthquake incidents in Tulunan, North Cotabato. The first one was a magnitude 6.3 quake that happened on the night of October 16. The second was this morning's 6.6 magnitude earthquake. Department of Science and Technology Undersecretary and PHIVOLCS OIC Renato Solidum says the 2 quakes are related. However, they will study them further for the details. The official adds the difference between the 2 quakes are the intensities felt in the affected areas, like in Davao, which was 5 the first time, and 6 this morning.
Doon sa Kidapawan, almost the same intensity rating as 7, although sinasabi nila mas malakas yung pagkaramdam.
PHIVOLCS advises residents in affected areas to take precautionary measures, especially in buildings and other structures with damages.
Ang nakikita natin na consequence nung unang lindol pa lang, kapag may sumunod na malaki, yung dati ng sira ay pwedeng madagdagan yung sira o pwede ring matuluyan din yung ibang mga nasira na totally mag-collapse.
Residents in landslide-prone areas are advised to evacuate until it's safe to return to their places of abode. Solidum calls on the public not to spread wrong information about tsunami threats.
Hindi po yan totoo. Huwag na po nating dagdagan ang pag-aalala ng ating mga kababayan. Nasa lupa po yung lindol, hindi magkakasunami sa dagat.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Meanwhile, Vice President Leni Robredo refused to answer the challenge of the president to lead the government's campaign against illegal drugs. According to a lawmaker, the president's offer is just an act to wash hands. This is the news of Vincent Arboleda.
Vice President Leni Robredo for now refuses to respond to the challenge of President Rodrigo Duterte for her to become the drug czar and lead the government's campaign against illegal drugs for 6 months. According to VP Robredo, the president seems to just have ticked off when he made the statement.
Again, ayoko mag-comment hanggang wala pa. Kasi marami na akong invitation in the past na binabawi. Ako, natuto na ako. Marami ng beses in the past na merong mga sinasabing hindi naman minimin. Merong mga imbitasyon na babawiin. So, hintayin muna natin.
According to Albay 1st District Representative Edsel Lagman, the president's challenge is an act of washing his hands on the failed anti-drug campaign. He says it's passing the problem to the vice president. According to Senator Francis Pangilinan, the challenge must be for the vice president to be the anti-drug czar for 3 years. Former Solicitor General Florin Hilbay asks, why don't the president just resign? According to House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano, should VP Robredo accept the challenge, she would need to present her plan.
What's that health-based approach? Kung may baril yung kaharap mo na nagbebenta ng droga at nandun sa school at hinuli ng pulis, anong gagawin ng pulis? Sabihin pare, mag-vitamins ka muna. Di ba? Ano yung health-based approach na sinasabi nila when it comes to enforcement and when it comes to methamphetamines?
Cayetano adds, should VP Robredo present her platform to curb illegal drug use and trade in the country, he's ready to support her as the leader of the lower house of Congress. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
It is a great help for the MWSS if President Rodrigo Duterte uses his extraordinary powers to solve the country's problem in water supply. Ray Pelayo explains why.
I will use the extraordinary powers of the presidency to... I could not just allow people go about without water, even for drinking.
The Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System, or MWSS, is ready to abide if President Rodrigo Duterte uses his extraordinary powers. MWSS Administrator Emmanuel Salamat said this is timely to fast-track the government's projects to augment the water supply in the country.
inflation inflation ating infrastructure roadmap dito. So ang problema lang, tumatagal tayo doon sa mga requirements that we need to comply before we implement the project.
The short-term solution seen is the construction of the Sumag River Diversion Project in General Nakar, Quezon. It will add 188 million liters per day of water to Umire River, whose water flows to Angat Reservoir. The construction of the project was stopped in August 2016 after an accident. If the project is allowed to continue, it may be operational next year. The official said reducing non-revenue water will also augment to the supply. He cited Maynilad with 33% of non-revenue water, or equivalent to 200 to 300 million liters of water per day. This is due to the leak of pipes and waterways before the concession agreement.
Ang commitment sa akin ng Maynilad is until end of this year, they can reduce it to 20%.
The MWSS administrator calls on the public to be responsible in the ongoing schedule of water interruptions and save water sufficient for them until the next schedules. He says through this, the supply of water may last until next week. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
President Rodrigo Duterte lets the local government units to regulate the use of firecrackers in their areas of responsibility. Rosalie Cos clarifies why.
President Rodrigo Duterte wants an end to the use of firecrackers to prevent injuries, especially among minors. He said he can utilize a law to stop the sale of deadly firecrackers.
Pero if I can utilize a national law to stop the selling, ang gusto ko kasi wala nang putukan para wala nang maputulan ng ulo, wala nang mabulag. I'm more concerned not in the stopping of the manufacture of pero yung madisgrasya ng mga bata. A lot of children every year would lose an eyesight, 2 fingers blown away. Yung mga ganun. Sunog.
However, the president admits he cannot totally ban the manufacture of firecrackers. So he lets the local government units to decide whether to ban or not the use of firecrackers.
It would really depend on the local government concerned. Kasi hindi pwedeng the firecracker itself is not illegal per se. So just because you're holding a firecracker doesn't mean that you are guilty of a crime. But may mga local governments that gaya Davao, I started way back in 20 year when I came back as mayor. Yun ang inimpose ko. Smoking, drinking, pati yung depende yan.
In June 2017, President Duterte released Executive Order No. 28 limiting the use of firecrackers and designating areas for community fireworks display in communities. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
A Song of Praise Music Festival stages its Year 8 Grand Finals just 12 nights from now. One of the interpreters of the 12 new praise songs says she learned how to have a positive outlook in life through the song entry she will perform on ASAP Grand Final stage. Nina Armulio details why.
12 new praise song compositions will fill the air at the New Frontier Theater on November 10 at the A Song of Praise or ASAP Year 8 Grand Finals. Ako ay tunay na magtatagumpay is one of the songs to watch out for. The voice behind its finals version is Kim Balusos. For her, being able to interpret Ako ay tunay na magtatagumpay in front of the ASAP crowd is a unique and inspirational experience. She says anyone who listens to the song will be inspired.
Ang story ng song is about kung paano ka magtatagumpay sa hamon ng buhay. So, kasi di ba po sa araw-araw, talagang normal na sa buhay ng isang tao na merong pagsubok, laging may problema, pero it's up to you na kung paano mo ma-overcome yun. Pero dito sa kantang to, binigyan na emphasize yung kung paano tayo magtiwala kay Lord, na if we put our trust and our faith on Him, we know that we will overcome everything.
Kim adds she is thankful for being cherry-picked as the interpreter of Sean Biliones' masterpiece that's uplifting and sends a message of hope.
Gumpay, binigyan niya ako ng positive outlook sa life na kahit anumang pagdaanan ko sa buhay ko, kung magtitiwala lang ako at patuloy akong mag-hold dun sa promise ni Lord sa buhay ko, I know na kahit mahirap man, masasaktan man ako, darating ang panahon na magbubungan lahat ng yan.
According to Sean, who's based in Indonesia, his song composition is about having positivity in life and bravery that one day we will succeed by trusting God. For Dr. Musico Docmon del Rosario, Sean's praise song entry has beautiful spoken word flow, contemporary gospel vibes, and poetic lyrics. And according to Kim, who steps on ASOP's grand final stage for the first time, every praise song is not just an ordinary song.
Hindi siya usual na song lang. Ito yung song na hinahandog sa taas kay Lord. And lahat ng kantang isinulat para sa Kanya is deserve na manalo.
To support Ako'y Tunay na Magtatagumpay and other ASOP Year 8 Grand Finals entries through online voting and music video power viewing, and to learn more about each praise song masterpiece, just log on to www.asoptv.com/poll and visit the Song of Praise Facebook page for more details. Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue.
And to complete the most significant news for this day, Y News continues. Here are the top stories. The Department of Transportation is set to open Sangley Point Airport by November in accordance with the deadline set by President Rodrigo Duterte. However, the airport will limit their operations to cargo air freight and general aviation in the meantime. Joanano tells us why.
The Department of Transportation, or DOTR, began today the operational dry run of Sangley Point Airport in Cavite in preparation for its official opening next month. Members of the media took a ferry boat from Pasay City. The trip ran for around 20 minutes. This is quite faster compared to more than 1 hour travel if you take a bus from the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, or PITX. According to the DOTR, Sangley Point Airport is 95% completed. The dry run will last for 7 days. It will be followed by the airport's inauguration, according to Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade. However, the Sangley Airport management will limit their operations for cargo air freight and general aviation flights in the meantime. As of now, only Cebu Pacific has given commitment to the DOTR to use Sangley Airport for cargo air freight. Cebu Pacific will still have to mull over transferring some commercial flights to Sangley.
We'll always look at where the infrastructure is, if it can handle the passenger flow. Of course, we will look at it, study it, and make sure that there is a market in place that we can service.
The opening of Sangley Airport is expected to resolve the problem of congestion and delayed flights at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, or NAIA. Although it may take until next year before commercial flights are made available in Sangley, Secretary Tugade argues that the transfer of some cargo and general aviation flights will somehow decongest NAIA.
Logically, pag nagbawas ka ng mga lumilipad sa isang lugar at linipat mo sa ibang lugar, hindi ho ba luluwag dun sa tinanggalan mo ng mga flights?
As of now, the DOTR and the contractor have completed the construction of the passenger terminal, departure area, drainage system, security equipment, and asphalting of some facilities in the airport, while the completion of runway and hangar is expected in the coming days. Joanna, UNTV News and Rescue, Cavite City.
Meanwhile, the Zamboanga City government has not allowed the Moro International Liberation Front to hold a peace summit tomorrow. This, although hundreds of its leaders and supporters are expected to attend. Dante Amento tells us why.
The Zamboanga City government denies to give permit to the Moro National Liberation Front or MNLF to conduct a peace summit in the city tomorrow, October 30. Authorities also refuse to give further details, but security issue is one of the reasons. Security forces are prepared in case the MNLF forces push through with the activity.
In case mag-chene man, pwede man kita planya si pakilaya kanila man disperse because they are authorized.
They will recommend to us yung alawar kasi dyan naman background check.
Some 500 MNLF leaders and supporters are expected to attend the peace summit, which will be headed by former Patasulu Mayor Moksan Tagid-Id and retired Philippine Navy Jubail Camlian. In 2013, the MNLF Misuari faction attacked Zamboanga City, where 32 were killed and more than 100 were injured. Dante Amento, UNTV News and Rescue, Zamboanga City.
The Philippine National Police are on alert status following the death of Islamic State of Iraq and Syria or ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi on October 26. Leia Ilagan details why.
The leadership of the Philippine National Police or PNP orders strict monitoring in connection to the death of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi in an operation in Syria. PNP OIC Police Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa says there is a possibility of retaliatory attacks from al-Baghdadi's sympathizers in the Philippines.
There's a possibility of retaliation, no? Just like any other ordinary naman na ganon. But we are in control of the situation. Even the armed forces of the Philippines assures us of that.
Gamboa also reminds police officers on the ground, especially those in Mindanao, to conduct operations in choke points and checkpoints. They are also directed to intensify their intelligence gathering to prevent any threats of terrorism, especially this long holiday.
Magtrabaho at maging alerto, no? In the history also, this is a time na nagtitake advantage din yung mga, lalo na yung mga communist terrorist group, mga CPP-NP. So they will always take advantage, no, dahil holiday.
The PNP OIC also orders his men to apply hardening measures on soft targets like police outposts and police stations in Mindanao region. Leia Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
And for the news abroad, here's Kath Dumaraos reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. Kath, good evening.
Good evening, William. Wind-whipped flames chased thousands of residents from wealthy Los Angeles neighborhoods and threatened the city's famed Getty Center Museum. Judith Anufuente has the details.
NBA star LeBron James has had to abandon his Los Angeles home due to encroaching wildfires that have ravaged parts of California in recent days. The Lakers star was among some 180,000 who have been forced to flee their properties because of the fires. Aside from LeBron, Terminator star and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actor Clark Gregg, and Sons of Anarchy creator Kurt Sutter all said on Twitter that they had been forced to evacuate their homes.
If you're in the mandatory evacuation zone and you're still there watching this, you're an idiot. Get the hell out. It's way too dangerous. People that stay behind are just endangering themselves and not helping.
The Getty fire started near the Getty Center Arts Complex and spread to about 500 acres close to some of the city's most expensive homes. The flames had destroyed 8 structures. Officials at the Getty said the fire was burning north of the building, which was designed with thick stone walls to protect its world-renowned art treasures.
It's too soon to say you're out of the woods, but
We do have firefighters at the Getty Center. We have them throughout the entire area in this vicinity that have really done a good job with that structured defense and suppressing those flames.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has declared a statewide emergency as wildfires continue to rage in many other areas. LA Mayor Eric Garcetti announced he would sign an emergency declaration to draw more resources to fight the Getty fire. Judith Anofuente, UNTV News and Rescue, USA.
Hundreds of demonstrators on Tuesday defied the curfew imposed by Iraqi authorities in Baghdad overnight as they took to the streets of the capital to demand access to basic services, employment, and anti-corruption measures. Hundreds of people marched on foot and in vehicles along 14th Ramadan Street until late at midnight when restrictions on citizens' right of movement took effect, but later withdrew after repeated requests from the security forces. The Iraqi authorities on Tuesday declared the curfew in Baghdad amid several incidents. Since Friday, at least 82 people have been killed and more than 3,000 injured in clashes between protesters and security forces. Thousands of barrels of oil have been tearing Brazil's beaches since September, and no one knows why. Now the country's wildlife and businesses are suffering from the mysterious oil spill. Jovic Burmas reports why.
Locals living along the pristine beaches of northeastern Brazil say the mysterious oil washing up along their shores is affecting both wildlife and local businesses, even as the government and volunteers scramble to clean up the sludge. The thick sludge has been washing up for nearly 2 months, and authorities and experts have been baffled by its origin. It is believed to be Venezuelan crude, but there is no evidence of how it entered the open ocean. Local tourist guide Evandelcio Santana said the region's mangroves are being polluted by the oil. Local seafood vendors are also taking a significant hit. Because the heavy crude does not float on the ocean surface like most oil slicks, officials said that traditional methods of keeping it off the shore have been ineffective. After oil slicks washed up along beaches of more than 2,000 kilometers of tropical coastline, hundreds of people have turned out to clean the beaches, many using their bare hands and feet for lack of gloves, boots, or even masks to block the fumes. Jovic Burmas, UNTV News and Rescue.
Answering the call to duty, a wounded hero dog was one of the few casualties from the U.S. Special Forces raid on the Syria compound of Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. But do not ask the dog's name because the military won't say, at least for now. Let's watch this report.
A photo of the hero dog wounded during the U.S. Special Forces raid on the Syria compound of Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was released on Monday in a Twitter post by President Donald Trump. The dog was described as slightly wounded after leaping into the fray on Saturday. President Donald Trump praised the dog during his remarks on Sunday, describing the battle that took place at Baghdadi's compound. The dog went into the tunnel where Baghdadi killed himself with a suicide vest. U.S. Army General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, was tight-lipped about the identity of the dog when asked at a Pentagon news briefing on Monday.
The dog, the K9, the military working dog, performed a tremendous service, as they all do in a variety of situations. Slightly wounded and fully recovering.
Milley expressed confidence the dog would bounce back from its injuries. He stressed that the dog still needed some degree of anonymity as long as it's carrying out secret missions. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Kath Dumaraos, reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. The Basis Conversion and Development Authority hired some 500 indigenous people as employees to maintain the cleanliness of the sport facilities at the New Clark City, Capas, Tarlac. According to some of those hired, such job opportunity is beneficial for their families. Leslie Hudem tells us why.
The Athletic Stadium, Athletes Village, Aquatic Center, and River Park These facilities await the athletes, spectators, and other guests at the 2019 Southeast Asian Games or SEA Games to be hosted by the Philippines. Cleanliness and orderliness in the sports facilities are a must. For this, the Bases Conversion and Development Authority has hired hundreds of indigenous people to maintain New Clark City facilities.
So since malapit lang sila, taga dito sila, kabisado nila yung lugar, alam nila yung weather, so hindi sila mahirap hagilapin and masaya pa sila nagtatrabaho dito.
Rowena B. Sumawang is one of the Sitio Kalangitan resident hired for the job. According to Rowena, who has 3 children, she and her family will benefit a lot from this employment.
Malaki na pong bagay sa amin, nakakatulong na sa pamilya.
According to David, he makes sure that all of the hired indigenous people are being taken care of and receive the wage due them. The compensation is approximately 420 pesos a day, not including overtime pay.
Hanggang kailangan natin sila kasi ang landscape, i-maintain, ang maintenance, kahit pagkatapos pa ng games, i-maintain pa rin natin mga facilities. So, kailangan linisin pa rin yung mga kalsada, i-maintain yung ating mga park. So, baka hindi na 500 by that time, pero malamang sila pa rin ang kukunin namin to maintain.
Nagpapasalamat po kami na hired po kami dito, nakapagtrabaho kasi po, lalo po ngayon mahirap ang buhay ngayon.
These are approximately 500 indigenous people hired to the job in maintaining the newly constructed sports facilities in New Clark City, Kapas, Tarlac. Leslie Widem, UNTV News and Rescue, Kapas, Tarlac.
The Bible Reader Society continue with their advocacy as a socio-civic youth organization aiming to strengthen Bible readership, particularly in academic institutions. And during the midterm exam week across the country, Bread Society chapters engaged in offering free items and services. Nina Armilio tells us why.
If in your university or school, you find these students giving away free pens, free yellow pad sheets, free correction tape, free ticklers, free expandable envelopes, surely they are the Bread or Bible Reader Society International. And during the midterm exam week, Bread chapters did not hesitate to extend help and free services to their fellow students. To perk up the day, the Bread chapter in the Pamantasan ng Cabuyao in Laguna Province offered free breakfast. Cabreds in Southern Luzon State University Lucban campus gave free book covering services and a lot more. Bread members in Tarlac State University gave away bread folders, pens, pencils, and power banks. UP Diliman Bread chapter gave free rides to UP Maroons through their Libred Sakay.
Para sa akin, nakakatulong din po. Malaking bagay na at saka nakalibre.
It's the fact that you're giving it for free, it helps a lot of students.
Masaya sa pakiramdam kasi nakikita ko yung mga reaksyon ng mga tao na natutuwa sila sa ginagawa ng Bread na libreng sakay. Yung goal na makatulong sa iba't ibang klase ng tao nandun.
Sobrang thankful ako dahil naging part ako ng Libred na to.
Bread Society International also promotes Omega DG Bible app by offering free downloading services. And several Bread chapters in high school campuses give away grocery gift bags like in Mandaluyong High School and Paaralang Neptali A. Gonzales in Mandaluyong City. And Polytechnic University of the Philippines or PUP Manila chapter during their monthly gift-giving activities. Bread Society continued to call on their fellow youth and even the alumni of different schools and universities to be one with them in their advocacy.
We read,
we listen, we act. We are Bread Society.
Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
And those are the reasons behind the news this October 29, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo, and before we close, we will recap with today's significant soundbites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
Well, the president is concerned with what happened in the latest earthquake in Mindanao, and he wants to, or he has directed all the agencies to provide assistance to the victims of the earthquake and continue with their usual reaction to situations such as this one.
Again, ayoko mag-comment hanggang wala pa. Kasi marami na akong invitation in the past na binabawi. Ako, natuto na ako. Marami ng beses in the past na merong mga sinasabing hindi naman minimin. Merong mga imbitasyon na babawiin. So, hintayin muna natin.
Dapat 15.40 yung presyo ng Nature Spring na tubig. Ngayon, binibenta niya ng 30 pesos. So, sobrang-sobra naman yung kanyang patong.
Pero if I can utilize a national law to stop the selling, ang gusto ko kasi wala nang putukan para wala nang maputulan ng ulo, wala nang mabulag.
So since malapit lang sila, taga dito sila, kabisado nila yung lugar, alam nila yung weather, so hindi sila mahirap hagilapin, and masaya pa sila nagtatrabaho dito.